Hey, what's up, everybody? It's BDO44. So I tried to make a video of my offering series where I offer up names that maybe you don't know that I've picked up on fantasy basketball that maybe have just broken out in the last 2 weeks or something like that. Players that if you did know of them, you didn't know they were breaking out. So I wasn't able to finish that video because I had to go to work and do some stuff. But right now I have a couple seconds, so I'll try to get that over with. So the first name I want to offer to you guys is Isaiah Stewart. Isaiah Stewart is a center of the Detroit Pistons, and he's just breaking out crazy. He's playing in front of Mason Plumlee, or rather behind Mason Plumlee, excuse me. And I think Mason's kind of missed some games here and there, and it's given given Isaiah an opportunity, and he's going to work with it. Block shots, rebounds, heavy, nice on the scoring. Gives you a few other things as well, but you're paying attention to the blocks and the rebounds because he's a monster. He's a rookie, but looking at his numbers, I can tell you right now, he's one of those guys, and I've said this about several players, but he's one of those guys where it's very clear to me that if you give him an opportunity, he's going to run with it, like completely run with it. You know, there are some guys who, even with a short amount of minutes, show you that they're extraordinarily productive, if nothing else, and that's exactly what Isaiah Stewart is. If he were to get 30 minutes a game, I think his numbers go crazy. So that's somebody I think you guys should definitely pay attention to, because his numbers tell me he's going to be a star. Like, he's a rookie and he's already given you a huge production. I mean, huge. In a very short sample size. So, of course, conditioning is going to be the story. You can't just throw a guy out there and say, hey, play 30 minutes a game, 82. He's going to have to work himself into that type of shape, I'd imagine. All players do. But that's what you groom him to be. You want him to be your starting center of the Detroit Pistons for the future. That part is already clear to me. I like Mason Plumlee, but I think he's ready to take a step back for a budding star center. So I think they should start Isaiah Stewart for the rest of the season and don't look back, because I think they found something. They found something big. The second name I want to offer you guys is Najee. Gosh, I can't think of his last name now. This is why I wanted to get through that video early. But his name is Najee Williams, I believe it is, something of that nature. But he plays for the New Orleans Pelicans, and he's getting an opportunity. With guys going in and out of the lineup for that team as a rookie, to show that he can play some small forward too. That Brandon Ingram ain't the only small forward that they got, and he's giving you some stuff that makes you say, okay, this is a productive player. This is somebody who's got an opportunity to really do some things himself. So I'm sorry I didn't come prepared. I had his name right. He was the first name I made in the video that I wasn't able to complete. Because I knew I would forget it because I've only seen his name a couple times. I just discovered him yesterday. I'd never heard of him. So Najee is his first name, and I don't know what his last name is. I'm sorry, I'm unprepared. That's what happens when you get pulled away from doing what you're doing. You come back and you lose everything because my memory is bad. But Najee of the New Orleans Pelicans, balling, small forward rookie. Definitely somebody who, if given more opportunities, will work his way into a role and maybe even something better than that. Who knows? Now, the third name I want to give you guys is a guy that you may be familiar with from college. He unfortunately his name was kind of attached to some things that weren't all that positive on the court because, you'll know what I'm talking about when I say the name Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen. Now, Grayson Allen's always been a talented player, especially given the fact that he thinks defense. But the problem with Grayson Allen in the past, and particularly in college, is he picked up a reputation from being very, very dirty. Like, he's notoriously dirty. He consistently does habitual line stepping type of stuff. It seems like since he's gotten to the league, he hasn't been doing any of that. We haven't seen any of that. So I'd like to think that that's all worked out of his system, and he's gotten help for that. Because I personally thought he needed help for that. You know, it's a viciousness. It's sort of like a Dominican Sue. I thought the same thing. Like, certain people in this world just have a real a disturbance about their mentality to where they want to hurt other people. But they're not in fields where they're necessarily supposed to hurt people as bad as they want to. It's that kind of thing. So, I feel like Grayson Allen may be one of those type of people. But I think since he's gotten to the league, you haven't seen any signs of that. And what you have seen is him come into his own with the Memphis Grizzlies this year. And he's breaking out. He is simply breaking out. He's a talented scorer. We know that. He plays defense. He's giving you some rebounds. He's giving you some assists. He's giving you some points. So that's what you want out of the guy. And he's doing points for you. He's giving you real points. It's those upwards of 20-plus points for a pretty deep team. 14 copy, thank you, sir. Pretty deep Memphis Grizzly team with players coming in and out of the lineup. So I think they found something very, very special in Grayson Allen. And he's the third name I'm going to give you guys. And the fourth name that I have for you guys is Killian Hayes of the Detroit Pistons as well. Killian Hayes is a guy who went down with a very bad injury to start this season, but he was drafted very high this season. He's a rookie. I think he was taken 7th or 8th, something like that, with the Detroit Pistons as their starting point guard. And he came in and he started off really slow. He had a bad start to his career and then got injured, and it just looked like he was going to be out for the season. Well, he healed fast, and he came back, and he's balling way better than he did initially. And that tends to happen when guys get hurt because it forces them to have conditioning. It forces them to do repetition, focus on their body, and just get in better shape than they probably would have been had they not gotten hurt. And I think that's what's happening with him. He's just in a much better shape, and it's showing. His impact is shown mostly on the defensive end. If you want to compare his numbers, think of a young Marcus Smart. Think of a young, what's the guy from the Spurs? I can't think of his name. The point guard of the Spurs, though. Think of a young like him, Lonzo Ball, those type of numbers. Not big on the points, not big on really anything, but he definitely gives you defensive stats, offensive stats, and enough up and down to show you that he's going to be productive on both sides of the floor. So his scoring needs to come around. I don't think he's as efficient as he'd like to be yet, but he makes up for it by being active defensively and facilitating. So like a young Marcus Smart type of stats, that kind of thing. DeJounte Murray was the name I was thinking of. Young version, I think the upside is tremendous, and I think the opportunity is definitely there. Even though he has Dennis Smith Jr. to deal with, I'm pretty sure they'll figure some things out and make sure that Killian gets his starting spot that he was drafted to take. So those are the 4 names I wanted to give to you. I'm so sorry to Najee. Forgive me, man. I'm going to come back and make a video and get your name right, but I just could not keep that in my head for some reason. But those are the 4 names I got for you guys, man. Isaiah Stewart, Najee of the New Orleans Pelicans, Killian Hayes, and of course Grayson Allen. Those guys are balling. Those are my offerings for this week, and I'm about to go to lunch. Thank you guys for watching. My name's BDL44. I'm out.